So now we turn our attention to the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel has its roots in biblical times and was formed from the descendants of a man named Israel, who had 12 sons. Now, following the death of King Solomon, the nation was divided into two separate kingdoms. One was the house of Judea, which consisted of descendants of Israel's fourth oldest son, Judah, as well as Benjamin, the youngest son, and Levi, the third oldest son. Now, the other kingdom was called the house of Israel. Over time, the descendants of Israel lost their identity. Now, Judea, however, was never considered lost and is understood to be the Jewish peoples of today. Now, the Jews never lost sight of their biblical identity because they generally continue to observe the 7-day Sabbath, a sign that identifies God's people. And there's a reference at Exodus 31:13. Now, one of the first things the house of Israel did when it split from Judea was set up its own holy days, laws, and other religious observations, and observances. Israel rejected the identifying sign that would have, over the centuries, reminded them of their ancient origin. Today, most who are descended from Israel, the U.S., the U.K., Ireland, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Iceland, and Greenland, because they believe they are Gentiles. So now we turn our attention to the country of Russia. There is a much older culture at work in Russia than was born in the minds of communist leaders such as Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin. This should have been especially known to Stalin, who was of the Ostians, which is a people who hold to the traditions of the ancient Scythians. Now, some Scythians, which is a broader term for a number of tribes who lived north of the Caspian Sea, had similar earmarks to Russian culture as seen during the Soviet era and today. Now, the modern-day nation of Georgia, which borders Russia's North Ossetia region, claims ties to a tribe similar to the Scythians, which is the Meskhetians, who also live between the Black and the Caspian Seas. Now, this people, has been variously called Meski or Moski throughout history. Now, Bible historians almost unanimously believe that Moski equates Meshach, which is a tribe mentioned throughout the Old Testament. Now, Meshach slowly moved north, along with his brother Tubal descendants until they settled in what is known as modern Russia. Now, notice at Genesis 10, the sons of Japheth, one of Noah's 3 sons, which is Gomer, Magog, and Munday, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Teres. Now, this is at Genesis 10, verses 2. Now, it says, interestingly, Tubal, sometimes spelled Tabl versus Tubal, and Meshach, which is Moski, are phonetically similar to the modern-day Russian cities of Tobolsk and Moscow. Now, throughout history, the Russians have been known to use human wave military tactics, sending hordes of soldiers to overwhelm the enemy. Now, similarly, the nation is known for banding together and sacrificing for what is a common good or a common cause. At Ezekiel 32:26 alludes to these characteristics when mentioning Meshach, Tubal, and all her multitude. Now, note that Munday gave rise to the Mendes. So when Meshach or the Mendes are mentioned in